Thanks for staying with us. We begin with the Electoral Commission, which has reopened the voter registration exercise for one day to give the opportunity to those who are eligible voters who are unable to register in the just-ended registration exercise to do so. In the Central Region, there's heavy police presence at the Cape Coast Metro Electoral Office. This follows a challenge against the NDC parliamentary candidate for Cape Coast North earlier today. Richard JoyNews is live with details. Richard, bring us up to speed on how the situation is panning out now.
Well, so currently, there are a lot of people that are here. They've turned up for the registration process. And then in the morning, the NDC parliamentary candidate for Cape Coast North, Dr. who came to register. But when he started the registration process, he was challenged by an FPP organizer in the same constituency. That got a lot of attention here, and there were some confusion all over. So the police had to call in a reinforcement to ensure that sanity prevailed. In fact, as we speak, the police presence here is still heavy. They do not want anything untoward to happen. The basis for the challenge of this candidate, who is being challenged before the matter went to the District Registration Review Committee, was upheld by the High Court in Cape Coast, and then they went for a mandamus in Accra, and then the court ordered the Electoral Commission to register him. So today, he availed himself the opportunity to come and register, and then he is being challenged. The basis for the registration today is that he does not fall within the categories of people that are supposed to be registered. Remember that the three categories of people that can register: people that have returned from abroad and did not register, people that for which one reason or the other couldn't register, and then people that have just turned 18. And so he was, challenged on the basis of this. So that is where we are currently.
And what has been the parliamentary candidate's reaction to all of this?
Because they've not taken it lightly. He sees it as a frustration moment, or as a tool of frustration for him to prevent him from filing his nomination. He says that time is running out on him. Time is of the essence for him. And so should they fail to do the needful, they are not going to leave here. They will still be at the premises of the Electoral Commission until that, the right thing is done. And so that is his reaction to the thing. He is still around and then waiting patiently for the next line of action to be activated.
Right. Richard JoyNews is a Central Regional correspondent. We will be keeping an eye on that particular area and give you updates in our subsequent bulletins. Let's turn our attention to the Upper West region now. Correspondent Rafiq Salam joins us with the latest from that region. Rafiq, what can you report?
I can report to you that several people, prospective registrants, defied the rain. The rain started here around 3 a.m. and it's still raining here, but they defied the rain and then went in to register. As at midday, about 40 people had their names on the register, but there are several dozens of people who are still lined up at the Electoral Commission waiting to have their names on the voter register.
All right, many thanks, Rafiq Salam. Let's turn our attention to the northern region now. Martina Bugri is there. She joins us on the line. Martina, how's the registration exercise going on in your region?
Like Rafiq's region, there was a rain this morning, but a lot of people have come out to register. I was at the two centers in the city, that's the Sameru and the Tamale Metro Center. And I must say that we have very long queues. People have actually come out in their numbers to register. But the fear is that they might not be able to register before it is 5 o'clock. And so they raised some concerns. Some of the people I spoke to raised concerns that if nothing is done, they might end up not registering. I spoke to the officers there, and they said that it's a directive from above and they have nothing to do with it. I spoke to the regional director of EBC, and he says that those who are in the queue, once you are in the queue and it is 5 o'clock and you don't get to register, they give you a chip, and then you are able to come tomorrow to register. And so it will be open tomorrow for those who are unable to register but are part of the queue to do that tomorrow. But some of them raise concerns. So let's listen to the Tamale Central Communications Officer of the NDC. He has some concerns with the number of machines being used for the exercise.
Concerns are very simple. we thought the numbers are going to be low, but looking at what is going on, the numbers are too much, and we told them to add more machines, but they told us that no, National has told them to use only 2 machines. And if you see the line that is over there, I don't think they can be able to exhaust all the people today. So I don't know whether they are going to add another day. If they are not going to add another day, then they have to add more machines so that they can be able to clear the queue.
But we have just about 4 or 5 hours to go.
Yes.
What difference would that make?
Since morning, how many people have they registered? You know, I can't give you the figure now, but since morning, they have not registered up to 100 people. By looking at the people here, there are more than 200. I don't want to lie, but there are more than 200. So I don't think by the end of the day, all these people are going to be able to register. So if they can add more machines or they add another day, that would.
Let's go to the Bono East region now. The registration is ongoing at Techiman EC office. Anas Sabit is on Zoom. He joins us with what's happening. Anas, how many people have successfully gone through the process at Techiman?
By midday, about 48 people have registered, and just like areas, we have quite a number of people still in the queue waiting to be registered. Of course, there are concerns being raised with regards to whether the EC will to register all the people on the ground. But my interaction with EC boss on the ground is they will give those in the queue some numbers or a sheet, and they will be able to continue with those who were in the queue by the time they end the exercise today, so that they're able to come in tomorrow and then get themselves registered. A lot of people, I see only a few people who have attained 18 years and couldn't register during the first registration. But a number of them we spoke with, or I have spoken with, came into the country after the exercise was over. You know, the region, we have a lot of people coming from Libya, a lot of people were outside the country during the registration. Now they are into the country. They took the opportunity to rush to the grounds to register. All COVID-19 protocols from my observation have been adhered to strictly. The concerns, once again, is whether the EC will be able to attend to them all before the close of the exercise today.
All right. Many thanks. Anas Sabit is our Bono East regional correspondent. Now, former Member of Parliament for Sisala East, Moses Daniba, is the new national chairman of the PNC after defeating incumbent Bernard Mona. Meanwhile, the People's National Congress has elected David Apasera as its presidential candidate for the 2020 December general elections. At the party's Congress on Wednesday, the former Bolga Central MP beat Reverend Samuel J. Deborah and Samson Asakia Wingobit to contest on the party's ticket. There's more in this report by Nicholas Eko Yamwa.
So Moses Daniba is duly elected chairman.
This announcement shattered the dreams of Bernard Mona retaining the party chairmanship. Former Sisala East NP Moses Daniba secured 1,297 votes, while Bernard Mona got 1,266 votes. Bernard Mona, reacting to his defeat, said he is grateful for the solidarity shown to him.
My leadership and chairmanship of the PNC has come to an end. After the count of ballot, I was defeated by my elder brother, the Honorable Moses Daniba. The PNC certainly has won, and I want to thank all of you for the solidarity that you have shown all these years.
On my part, I wish to state that I'll do all that is possible to rejuvenate the PNC. And I'm calling upon all members across the country and even abroad who have the love for PNC to come on board. Come on board, let's rebuild the party. Our party has shrunk down to a certain level that was not very acceptable to some of us.
With just 2 months to the election, former Member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central, Mr. David Apasa, emerged victorious to lead the PNC in the 2020 elections. He won the election with 1,315 votes, followed by Samuel Awengobit with 789 votes and Reverend Samuel J. Deborah, who came third with 465 votes.
And I want to let Ghanaians know that as this opportunity opens itself, I am going to work hard and let Ghanaians know that PNC is a vehicle that can carry you to the Jubilee House. We are going to hit the ground running because it is very belated. We are just with about 3 months to go. So I call on PNC members and all sympathizers, all those who had given up hope that the vehicle is awake again and we are driving straight. We hit the ground running.
Former flag bearer of the PNC, Edward Mahama, consoled losing aspirants and urged them to prepare for future elections.
For those who contested and lost, let me say this: you have not lost, you have won. Because today marks the day when you go and take stock of what you did for this party. And then today also marks the day when you have to start learning. When you lose, you go back and revise your notes. And then you come back and maybe you will win comfortably.
In conformity with the COVID-19 preventive protocols, the People's National Conventions Congress, unlike previously, was organized across the 16 regions of the country. The UDS guest house in Accra served as the coalition center where the results from the various regions were collated and announced by the Electoral Commission. In all, 23 roles were contested for at the National Delegates Conference of the party, with Janet Asana Nabla elected as the General Secretary, Abbas Nuhu as the National Organizer, and Hidayah Sunjun Ibrahim as the women's organizer. Nicholas Ekoyamo's report for JoyNews.
And I have the flag bearer of the PNC, David Apasera, in the studio with me. So congratulations are in order. I mean, I knew you as MP for Bolga earlier, yes. And now you are the leader, if you like, the presidential candidate of the PNC. Yeah. How do you feel? How does your win make you feel, first of all?
Well, I'm humbled, and because to be elected a leader of a whole political party, it means that people have confidence in you. Mm-hmm. And it means they have watched your life, they have looked at your integrity, they have looked at your experience, and all these informed the decision of the party to make me their leader. And it is something that I actually never dreamt about, but it came.
I see.
When I saw that the party needed a committed person to take it up.
I see.
So I decided that I'll come.
You have some very big shoes to fill. You know, the former flag bearer was Mr. Mahama, and a lot is expected of you. But first, tell me, why did you decide to contest the flag bearership of your party?
Well, you see, PNC, I joined PNC in 1992, and I saw how vibrant PNC was. And because of the way the party was, that is how come I was able to come on the party ticket and come to Parliament. I have seen of late that the party is not that way. And I believe that leadership is required to fire up any organization. And so if PNC is not making it, then we need somebody who will be passionate, who will have real commitment, and who has the experience to go and lead a party. And I think God has blessed me with these qualities. Whatever I want to do, I believe I should do it well. And I decided that let me give myself up and then see if the rank and file or the delegates so decide. I think I'll do something about it. And that's what informed my decision to come on board.
I see. You earlier mentioned that the PNC was not going the right way. What was wrong with the party, for which reason you believe that you needed to step in and help change the narrative?
Yes, there was kind of division at the national level that was not the best. And PNC was a bit projected like a proxy of another party. That was not good also. And also,
you can imagine that 3 months to election that we are holding a National Congress and electing a flag bearer. How does that inure to the benefit of the party? And these are the difficulties and challenges that the party was facing. So, and I thought that with me, I have gone through the mill and I have tested myself that I'm not the type that will go that way. I will unite the party, refocus on our objective, and
that's a huge challenge, unifying the party, because the divisions remain. That's a major challenge for you to unify the party and bring the rank and file together again. You have less than 2 months to, campaign towards the election. How are you going to bring the party, the rank and file together so that you perform significantly better than you did 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think part of the unity comes from working without time to think about personal differences. Right. If we begin, and then our focus is to make sure that we have all our polling stations, executives properly elected and working. And then our focus is to make sure we have MPs coming to Parliament and possibly having me in the Jubilee House come the next election. Certainly, people will have no time for personal differences. I think that is the best way to go. And so, just as I said, we are going to hit the ground running. And everybody is to be on board. There's nothing like this man is this or that. We have no camps. And so I believe that with this in mind, with my able chairman, the former honorable member for
that's Moses Daniba.
Moses Daniba. We are all committed to the process, and we'll get it going.
But I wonder if commitment is just enough. But let me ask you, you said you're going to hit the ground running almost immediately. What is the plan going forward so that you can garner as many votes as you can from the electorate on December 7th? Because as we speak, the party's manifesto is not out yet. Yes, the party is not campaigning on the ground.
Yes.
So what's the plan going forward?
Certainly, I'm giving myself at least 2 weeks from now for us to launch a manifesto. And we are going to meet with regions and then the constituency executives. And we want them just to go down to the grassroots and get polling station executives fixed properly. And then once we launch the manifesto, I'm sure that we are going to take off from there. And I believe we have able-bodied young men who are interested in this party, who have a conviction and a passion to carry this party forward. And when that happens, it will be a kind of a spontaneous, building of the party.
Okay. So you made the point about, the PNC and you using it as a vehicle that can carry the members to Jubilee House. How do you intend to do that? What is your message to the Ghanaian public, the electorate?
Yes. Ghana, we have had a taste of 2 major political parties, and I don't think all is well with Ghanaians. We still have the challenges, and we have a vision for Ghana, and we believe that when we come to power, we will tackle the issue of, the value of the city. And I believe that if we have to be self-reliant, we have to make sure that we don't go importing finished petroleum products, because we have a refinery here. That takes a lot of money. That takes billions of dollars, bringing in finished product to burn on the streets. We will make sure that we have it done in Ghana. And we don't need to import rice. We have the fields. We can do that. We can produce enough rice and even export. And that is also taking a lot of dollars. That's how come the dollar is rising against the city. And then also, we want to look at the cost of energy. You can't industrialize without energy being cheap. Otherwise, you can't. You can't run your machines with a costly cost on energy. So we have to look at that. We have to, you know, look at the protocols or the laws or the kind of, what do I say, agreements that we have signed in the previous about electricity generation and so on. And we have to reposition this and make sure that our cost of energy comes down, and then we will have an industry picking up, and then we at least mechanize, agri, and so on. And so we have a lot of vision.
That's a lot of ideas, and some would say it's all over the place. But what is that major policy that you intend to push in the event of winning the election? I mean, the MPP's free senior high school is their major policy. The NDC talks about its big push, $10 billion push. What is the PNC's main policy that it's going to push? For which reason Ghanaians would say, well, I mean, this is an alternative we can't consider.
Well, certainly, like you are saying, we had thought about free education. We talked about it long ago in our manifesto.
But somebody else
Yes,
did.
And somebody is implementing it. It's good for us. It's good for us because when we proffer ideas, we hope that they are taken up and it's helpful to the society. So that is good enough. And we are going to continue that. We are going to continue that. But what I want to say is that we have to make sure that we don't over-rely on the foreign imports. And we can do this simply by making sure that we export even finished product instead of importing finished product. If we begin to do that, our dependence on the dollar will fall, and that will make the cedi stabilize. And we are going forward to make sure that we industrialize. And that means we have to make sure that energy is cheap. And if it even means that we have to go into, let's say, nuclear energy to produce cheap energy for ourselves, I think we are in an environment we can do that.
All right, let me ask you, when do you intend to put out your manifesto? Already, the two major parties have put out their manifestos. There's a lot of discussion and analysis around that. When does the PNC intend to put out its manifesto?
That's what I'm saying, that we need, at least for now till 9th, my focus will be to get 9th of this month.
Okay.
My focus, I mean, to get our parliamentary candidates and then our flag bearer and everything filing, so that we are not out of time immediately. But we will set a committee to look at revisit our manifesto. And I hope that by the time we file, we should be able to come forth with our manifesto to Ghanaians. Certainly, I have been saying that, you see, we come from a Nkrumah's tradition. And if you look at the manifestos of the two major parties, similar, very similar, the same policy outlook. It's only how you go about it. That is maybe mechanism or the processes.
Okay.
So what prevents us from becoming, even as Nkrumah was preaching, one party state?
So we can expect your manifesto
this is not the wish of Ghanaians. So we will come forth with also our manifesto
on the 9th of October.
But not 9th, but I hope
from 9th going.
From 9th going.
Okay.
But we'll give ourselves a very short time to prepare for it because time is not on our side.
I see.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Absera, how do you respond to those who are so skeptical of the party, winning the 2020 elections? They say that the NDC and the MPP have edged you out, and parties like the CPP, the PNC, and the PPP are no longer considered serious contenders for the presidency, if you like. How do you respond to that?
Well, people are right to hold that view, and that's why I want to change it. You see, politics, you don't do it sitting in the comfort of your offices or your home. It's not a question of making a television appearance, and then that is enough. It means you have to lace your boots well and go to the field. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to inspire a move from the grassroots, a movement that will sweep across the whole country and then engage the youth and let them know that there is time to make a change. You see, the truth is that if we continue to only depend on two political parties, we are setting for ourselves a bit of a danger, because you see, then they become more confrontational. If there is a third party, third option, then you see that you don't have that real acrimony that we see certain times. So I believe that when I get into the field, this scenario will change.
Are we likely to see a third option? People have been talking about the fact that they're tied with the NDC, they're tied with the MPP, but they really have no option. But they talk about a third option. Really, should we be considering, is there a third option in the foreseeable future?
Yes, certainly. Like I'm saying, by the close of next election, you will see PNC as a third option. I can assure you that. Yes.
When you say as a third option, are you saying PNC is winning the 2020 elections?
Well, I am believing that we will win. I am believing that we will win, because I hear people saying, look, we are tired of MPP, we are tired of NDC. And I know that they need somebody they can feel safe to hand over the reins of government to. And I think that I'm well positioned, and people know that we have held ourselves, we have portrayed some level of integrity, and then we can handle power and make it run well for years.
All right, David Apasera is the newly elected flag bearer of the People's National Convention. You heard me there in that conversation with him. He says the PNC will be the vehicle that they will use to get to the Jubilee House at the end of December 2020. I wish you all the best. All right. You're still watching Election Brief with me, Arabo Combs, and still to come, who will residents of New Jobbing South constituency vote for as their Member of Parliament on December 7?
Youth ne wan ye nya adwuma nye so adwuma bie ni ha oman mu eden kokodu aso so de adwuma papa bie ni ha
sanke nyanse ne adwuma bie se bi obie nsa ne adwuma na ye a ye ne jinsa ne adwuma memi se anya adwuma me ye nkwa me sebenda
ye ntwa de adwuma ni ha.
You want to stay for Constituency Watch, and the race for the Asawase Parliamentary seat. Joy FM Battleground Show today focuses on the race between the NDC's MP, Muntaka Mubarak, and the MPP's Ali Dusedu, who is the Municipal Chief Executive of Asokore Mampong. We'll tell you what to expect.
Over 50 projects, and majority of those projects are under education. Again, under health.
Details when we come back from this break. You're welcome back. Now we begin our 1 hour election brief. We're continuing election brief from the New Jobbing South constituency in the Eastern region. It's sited in the heart of Koforidua, the capital of the region. But residents say members of parliament over the years have failed to create jobs for the youth. Now they have the option of choosing between fresh candidates in the upcoming polls and the job creation strategy, which will be the deciding factor. Kwesi Parker-Wilson visited the area and has come through with this report.
Michael Ochirbefi is the NPP's parliamentary candidate for New Jobbing South constituency and the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Board. In this constituency, the NDC will be represented by Martin Otuofe, a lecturer at the Koforidua Technical University. On December 7, residents of New Jobbing South will have to choose between these two, among others, to represent them in Parliament for the next 4 years. Speaking to residents, one major problem stands out: limited job opportunities for the youth.
How to now consequence and say Yantoshi marketing a Juman Koso.
Youth ne wan ye nya adwuma nye so adwuma bie ni ha oman mu eden SMP we oba na ko betima ma ye adwuma at least Obia benya ne nsa no kakra bi akɔ ne nsa kora normal man we obae ye hu ni obeye man Kufudia so de adwuma papa bi eni ha ti ko beba na ka bia service adwuma yi bi kura yen kitinkiti fire service police service adwuma kakra bi kura yen sabe koya no kura at least normal man ko si ebre pa
mi say no baby a mi du ya e wo school semu sanke nyanse no dwuma bi se bi obi ensa no dwuma na yen a ye ne jinsa no dwuma mi say enya dwuma me ye nkwa mi estebenda ana ma sa be dwane organize dwuma me ye ndi me ye so say me nya me se so ono so pe ensa no dwuma sa se mpi ni bi dwuma sa na say ofa nkofo a yen so be boae dwuma de bi no ebi ne system because o hwe fi ha no ma akwa aje se bia obi ka se bia na de ma bia store na me nyo bi ntna no ma nkasa me busy ene no so enye no ma anye de bia asa ba ko pe ndi se adwuma bie ni e ba so de a e be boae
ye problem ye wo ha ni say adwuma ni wo ya any public toilet ye ni eyi ba bia asa ye bola kwa ye digu ye bola ye sto echi ni ri ye nto ade adwuma ni ha your problem ye sole a ade echi a council for municipal for ye sika niam bebre no mo gigi adwuma ne nye emwa ye pese adwuma ba kofodua kurom ti se kofodua ye pe adwuma titire tuturu e be boa me yenye bi se do mo so ye adwuma no menye bi de abeto ade me yesu yenye sika ni bi.
Both candidates are optimistic. Michael Befi says even though he is not a parliamentarian yet, he has facilitated the employment of most of the youth in the area. He promises to champion the welfare of his constituents it voted for on December 7.
We're talking about somebody who has facilitated the employment of a lot of people, more than 100 people. I mean, more than 200 people in this. Somebody who is not the MP. We are talking about somebody who through his effort, a lot has happened in Kofodia. When he was not the MP, I have facilitated a lot, not less than 200 people on scholarship at Teka University, and it is clear, everybody knows it. We are still doing it. I'm talking about where I was not the member of parliament, and a lot of the employees of the regional hospital were not mechanized. They were there as casual workers. Through my interventions, almost about 50 of them have been made permanent. When I was not the MP, that's what we're talking about. Everybody can see it. People are going to the police today, as I'm talking to you. 5 of our people, Kofodia, they are passing out at the Kofodia Training School, police here today, this morning. The
NDC's Martin Otuofe has also been outlining his plan for job creation.
I have told my constituents that in youth empowerment, I'm going to do something very serious about youth empowerment. So there are 5 areas that I'm going to develop. My area is ICT, and I'm going to ensure that within the 4 years that I'm giving the opportunity to represent New Jabin South, I'll train 12,000 young people in ICT-related things. And we're going to give them free laptops and train them. How are we going to be able to do that?
We're going to give free laptops to 5,000.
Yes, 15,000. No, 12,000 within 4 years. 12,000
within 4 years.
Yes, and
so
train
each
them.
year,
so the first year, I have commitment from someone to give me 2,500 laptops. That's
so you're going to provide 2,500 laptops?
Yes, free.
Free?
Yes.
For your constituent?
For my constituent. And develop.
And now it will span for a period of about 4 years?
Yes, and I'll do that for 4 years. So I'll increase it depending on how it's going. But my target is 12,000 within the 4 years. Interestingly, this place can become a tourism hub. Nationally, there are a lot of mountains surrounding us. We have a brand name we call Kofodia flowers, which represent beauty. We are not using it for anything. I think, and I know, that when the constituents that I'm speaking to give me the opportunity, here will become a tourism hub.
Both Michael Befi and Martin Ofer are new entrants, but after hearing their plans for the constituency, who will New Jabin South say yes to?
Obia kasa, NDC kasa, MPP kasa. Nemum, ye hwede yankobeti baye adwuma no. Ye papem no. Ti sia wo kasa no, kasa ne ye behwe so ato abama. So, adwuma obeti maye no. Ba ku MPP man ye fe no ne ben. Di oba nyanse Befi. Be fi say wo hwe ne kasem ni nyema ma to me pa de meto ama no the okasa obeye no to me yema ye nko ade at least me ka meto ama no bon person ko bi atuma no so a oba on bomoni a enye vote gidigidi no oba on me ne oso obeye no eno ne ye hwehwe. Thank you.
Me pa so ne mi gina so de ato abama ne me to aba mi gina so de ato abama e be afi ne ma me to aba na ma ne nse na ho keka ma me hu so oba obeboa yen eni me hia titu kra ye public toilet ye ni public toilet we ewie mu eni na nti se de okasa ne se de oye ne ne ma kire se oba obetimi abo oba me nya adwuma kese ama che se mnantie se wo atoto cars ama nkrofo nya adwuma bebre ye ti ye gidi pa se ye kwan bebi we kwan ne nye nso wa ma kwan ne na ye fan
MP for ne de so mo ba on be kan so be se na so munya betena so wi ahwi ni wa omo ye omo twem kro mo me hwe enwane se ye ti ho san na afi na san kwaba na san ba beto ye.
We wish all parliamentary candidates in New Jabin South all the best. For JoyNews, Kwesi Parker Wilson, Kofoyudia.
You're still here on the election brief with me, Araba Kumson. Now, President Akufo-Addo has issued a strong warning to persons going independent against the party's advice. He vehemently indicated that anyone that goes independent means he or she doesn't love the party and as such, he cannot work with him or her. The call comes after one Kwabena Osei Bonsu filed for independent candidacy in the Ahafo North constituency. Akufo-Addo revealed Mr. Bonsu refused his counsel when he called him to settle any misunderstandings. The president reiterated the call through his tour today in all the Derba in the Ahafo constituencies of the Ashanti region.
Four more for Nana Baba Yajuma. Mikwa Minchi Bemo Menye. Timmy here, Mema, or Matebe Demoa. One of the four. Mrs. Anoso. Until me Kwa. Here, they have been going to the Yako. Independent beer to me, Moame. Independent candidate beer to me, Moame. We are not MPP ni our independent and on your MPP ni papa. On your MPP ni papa. O MPP ni papa on your independent. Teacher, Masmasi and from Madam Menon one bad. Let's say only a boom mammy. Utumi Yajuma. Only pay a boom mammy, no minute to me in Yajuma. Misamo Obia Jane Enya no Bako Onipa Metumini na ye Juma Enis Sule Ojame Chen or no na Metumini na ye Juma Misma Juma Pepe so go independent candidate no launching Jubilee House also on ma the nipa say and I'm going to say in ye Juma Maso Yanto Manonda and Tomanitra.
Now, in the wake of this, some residents and party members are worried about the future of Mr. Bonsu in the party and the upcoming election. Prince Appiah has been speaking to some of them.
As you all know, the party has structures. As a member of the New Patriotic Party, you know, and everybody knows that the orphan constituency, nobody should challenge the MP, the sitting MP. Why should you depart and go somewhere? He has no chance. Period. He has no chance. And see the Derba today.
And what the president said, what would you say about that? The president talked about he cannot work with any independent candidates. You think it was okay?
That's what I'm saying. The president has said it all. Period. He has said it all. The party structure is there. The party structure is there.
No, me say na what they ban enye. You the baby politics no kan we nti amfo aso.
So we independent candidate waba. We MPP ni and we free party ni say oba be position. Na na do afro say bla no kasa. Odi nka afro first one wa ma. Second one o say suma netball collector adima prempe say bla Jubilee House ni nyina wa ma. Na je say won fa obuo ma no. Wan fa uni obuo ba ko ade ye say wo de ma papa no. Ni eto abama say independent na ko ho a. Wan na ne koye adwuma. President na wa afro say bla no. Wo mfa obuo ma na. Wa biom na ye say odi buo be ma no. Nti wono de onima wo nya ikura wo step down. Na abano nya
ne say de na na do ka no eye bum yentu abane ma no na mwa me didi ni ayi
o kan say o frɛ no wa ma nti ono na ntime nya adwuma
na wo
adwenkyere ne say aye ne kore yo o frɛ obi no wa ma nya de wo ne na betima ya abi ona yentu ma no ayi beto ma na ne suli.
Well, the president is continuing his working visit, and he is in the eastern region today, and he's built to inspect some ongoing developmental projects spanning from road construction, salt cutting of district hospitals, school projects, and some Get Fund projects. He will also inspect ongoing construction works on the much talked about Nkoko Nuyem New Ebrim Road project, which is co-funded by Newmont Ghana Limited and Cocoa Board. Now, executives of the New Patriotic Party in the Amasaman area in the Greater Accra region have filed a writ, an injunction to restrain the Electoral Commission from accepting the nomination papers of their parliamentary candidate. On the phone with us is the constituency chairman of the MPP at Amasaman, Michael Oforia Sante, and Nick Pakpo-Addo, he's lawyer for the plaintiffs, to join us on the phone. Thanks for your time, gentlemen. Let's start with you, Mr. Oforia Sante. Why do you want your parliamentary candidate out?
Thank you very much, Araba. I really don't understand the question, but I don't want my parliamentary candidate out.
Okay, why are you taking this action against your parliamentary candidate?
I haven't taken any action against him.
All right.
I haven't taken any action against him. What I know is there were 3 polling station executives who took us to court after the primary somewhere in January. And that issue has been in court. They are the ones who took the party to court. I'm not the one. So
very well. Okay. We have Ni Pakpo-Addo on the line. He is a lawyer. Ni, who are you representing?
Oh, thank you very much. What am I speaking to again?
Araba.
Araba, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Okay, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to your wonderful listeners. There are 3 executives of the constituency who have challenged the election of the purported parliamentary candidate. Now, what is significant is that there was an election, a first election that was to have been held. And at that time, there was a candidate amongst that first election that didn't come off, who challenged the entire process because he was disqualified. Now, whilst the issue was in court, there was terms of settlement that were reached. And there was also an interlocutory injunction that was pending in respect of that particular matter. Now, before the resolution could be brought before the court for acceptance as being the final judgment of the court, being that parties had reached some form of settlement, the constituency went ahead to hold the parliamentary elections without waiting for the injunction to be put to rest and then the terms of settlement adopted by the court. So certain executives of the constituency who are polling station executives from various polling stations decided that they were not going to accept the purported election of one FIFA who had emerged out of the second election that had taken place, which then had resulted in some person being held out as a nominee. They challenged it that if that election should have come on, after the court had pronounced on the first matter that was still pending.
Right.
So they have been in court challenging the eligibility and purported election of this FIFA person.
Just to clarify, what are the reliefs that you are seeking?
Now, that is the pending case. Now, in this particular case that has been filed, it is the Electoral Commission which has announced its intention of accepting nominations from persons who intend to stand as parliamentary candidates. Now, you know that there is no parliamentary candidate until and unless you are filed and have been accepted by the Electoral Commission.
Right.
So these executives are putting the Electoral Commission on notice that they have a pending matter in court, which has the Electoral Commission as also a party, and they are not prepared to make any, or they are not prepared to let any opportunity granted to this FIFA gentleman to purport to present himself as the elected parliamentary candidate for the MPP.
Let me try and understand. Let me try and make sense of what you're saying. Is this writ a fresh writ, or is what you're doing is sending some form of notice to the Electoral Commission not to recognize?
So
exactly. Which is why I'm asking you what reliefs you are seeking.
Now, the reliefs in this one are very simple. That the district election officer, who is the head of the district election office at the district assembly, and the national EC are being put on notice that there is a pending matter in court in respect of Mr. FIFA challenging his election. And therefore, until that matter is determined, they cannot accept any fault that purport to emanate from Mr. FIFA during this period of nomination and filing. That's basically it. So there's an injunction application that is pending in respect of the attempt to file by Mr. FIFA, if he even attempts to file. And once that has been done, the EC knows what to do. So basically that is what is happening. So we don't expect Mr. FIFA to make an attempt to file any nomination papers, because clearly that would be in contempt of court.
All right. We'll have to leave it here. Many thanks. Ni Pakpo Ado is lawyer for some executives of the MPP in the Amasaman constituency. We did try to reach out to the parliamentary candidate there, or aspirant there, but we were unsuccessful. We will try in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the chiefs and people of Bibiani Pa and adjoining communities in the Doma Central Municipality of the Bono region have installed John Mahama as Nkoswahene, that's a developmental chief. Wednesday night, the former president and NDC flag bearer has the stool name Osahene Dr. John Mahama, with all traditional rites performed. According to Nana Nkumsa Edinkra, chief of Bibiani Niha, the decision to install John Mahama as a development chief is due to the many developments they saw under his leadership. He was speaking ahead of the installment at the Deba in Bibianiha. On his part, John Mahama assured the chiefs and people of more developmental projects, including a tomato processing factory, if they elect him as president again. Now, let's stay on the NDC because the Swedu District Court has dismissed a case filed by the party to disqualify the Member of Parliament for Agona West ahead of the December polls. The NDC on Tuesday prayed the court to instruct the Electoral Commission to delete the name of Cynthia Morrison from the voters' register. The plaintiff, Eric Yankee, who was also the NDC chairman for the constituency, accused Ms. Morrison of not being a resident of the area. Hence, her name should be removed from the register. But after the proceedings, the district court was convinced of Mrs. Morrison being a resident of the constituency and threw out the case. Mrs. Morrison, who is also the Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister, is said to have registered at Intiamwa Hotel polling station in the Wawase electoral area. However, the NDC agent raised a challenge against her after she was issued her card and had left the center. This led to a challenge hearing, which Mrs. Morrison was able to prove her eligibility. But Mr. Yankee, unsatisfied with the decision of the commission, filed a suit against the MP during the exhibition exercise. Now, Member of Parliament for Mansu Edubia constituency in the Ashanti region has appealed to constituents to exercise patience since all deplorable roads in the area are under construction. Yao Frimpong Ado's appeal comes after numerous protests by residents about poor road networks in the constituency, which affect economic activities. The MP spoke to the media at a sword-cutting ceremony for the construction of roads in his constituency.
Well, I am Nanopia Mensan II, Utumfo Pehene, and chairman of the Council of Chiefs in the Amansia South District. We are very much impressed by this morning's function. We have been expecting this for a long time. I'll give a short history of this road. This road was constructed in 1925 by Governor Gogodibet. And almost all the covers and bridges on the road are destroyed. None is existing now.
Now to the governing MPP, which will on December 7 be seeking to win the Asawasi seat, which has eluded the party in the stronghold of the Ashanti region. Its candidate, Ali Duseidu, is confident of victory, but the NDC's Muntaka Mubarak says nothing will change as he will retain the seat. Joy FM show The Battleground will at 8 p.m. focus on this constituency. Here is something to tease you.
A majority of those projects are under education. Again, under health, the Prakusu Health Center is there.
But supporters of the National Democratic Congress in the constituency tout the achievement of MP Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak.
We have about 11 electoral areas. When you go to all the electoral areas, you will see Muntaka's project.
So that's what to expect, and a lot more on the battleground on Joy 99.7 FM at 8 p.m. with MFA Apao. Don't miss it. And that's all for Election Brief for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Send us your feedback on our Facebook page, Joy News TV. I'm Arba Kumsin. Have a good afternoon.